Okie doke. I'm live. Hello, everybody. For those of you watching the replay, we're going to be talking about bank financing for non-residents here in Costa Rica, because I see a lot of misinformation about this in my own group. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, I do have a Facebook group. It's called Moving to Costa Rica. There are some other ones out there, but I think we have over 40,000 members in ours, and it's got my little photo up there. So if you want to join, if you don't use Facebook, I totally understand. I don't know if I would personally be on Facebook myself if I didn't have to be. So I get that. But this is a topic that I want to chat about because I see a lot of misinformation in the group. So I see we have someone here. Hello. And I'm sure there'll be some people that are going to be watching the replay. So if you want to say hi in the comments, if you're on Facebook, I think you have to give a permission that I can see your name. If not, maybe just, put your name and if you have any questions. But today I'm going to be pulling up some bank financing for non-residents here in Costa Rica. So I see a lot of posts, like I said, mainly in my own group, because that's the group that I look at the most. And people say, oh, what financing options are available to me? And I see so many people say, no financing unless you're a resident. No, you can't get financing. You have to be a resident. But that's just not true. I guess if you'd asked me about a year and a half ago, I would tell you, really no financing options till you're a legal resident. But there is an option. And we have had people, clients that we've worked with who we've helped with their move, actually obtain this financing to purchase a home. You can do a home equity line of credit. So they have some different options. So I'm going to share with you the PDF on this. So if you want to say hello, let's see. Okay, we got YouTube. Okay. All right. We got some people on YouTube here. Great. Well, thanks for watching the channel. If you're new, to the channel, I do help people move to Costa Rica, the whole process A to Z. I actually have a nice team that I work with. So, always such good information. Thank you, Dave. Oh, also, there's a description below of this video. So the PDF that I'm going to share with you as we're talking, you can get access to that PDF through the link in the description below. It'll be lasarelena.com/financing. So that way you can actually download the PDF and look at it a little bit better. I'll put it lena.com/financing. So if you want to look at that PDF yourself, you can go in and download it. From there, you'll have to fill out your name, your email, and then it'll take you to where you can download the PDF that I'm going to present to you right now. Other thing, if any of you, I think, Dave, you were at the webinar last night. If any of you missed the webinar, we had a great webinar about taxes, talking about taxes and, financial advising for people from the United States moving to Costa Rica. I'm working on Canada. We work with a lot of Canadians, so I'm working on it. Sounds like Canada isn't as complicated as the United States, so that's good news. But if you did miss that webinar, you can access, I'm going to be sending out the replay to that later today. So also in the description below, there is a link. I think it's, lasarelena.com/webinar registration. It's in the link below. You can put in your name and email. Later today, I'm going to send out the replay of that webinar that we did last night. So that was really helpful. I hope. Okay, great. Oh, Penny added me on Facebook. I'm horrible with Facebook friend requests. I don't think I've checked those in forever. So I'm going to have to go through and probably accept those if I'm able to. But maybe there's a follow button. Okay, so we're just going to get into it because I don't want this live to go on forever. And I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So I'm going to share my screen here. So the bank that I'm talking about is Banco Lafis. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Maybe it's Lafise, maybe Lafis, but Banco Lafis. I've been really happy with them. They have helped okay, here we go. Pulling it up. Okay, now I'm going to add this here. Oh, sorry. Oh gosh, what did I do? Sorry. So learn how to use this. Okay, so I think you guys can see here, these are the terms and conditions. So this is an actual bank. A lot of times there are some other, sources of financing here. I've even talked about some private lenders up on my YouTube channel. I've seen some lenders that are basically just helping you go through this exact bank. And I am releasing a YouTube video on Saturday that I do talk about kind of my experience, because I'm one of those, I like to get all the information. I like to get the different quotes, compare, see what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And in this case, and also you guys can learn from my mistakes and everything. I do have a story of the first bank that I tried to finance through forever ago. years and years ago. That was kind of a disaster. But this bank has been great. So here's a little bit about what you can expect. And the contact information is on the PDF. So if you go download the PDF through the link that's in the description, the contact information that's below is the representative that I work with at the bank and representative that we've had other clients work with. And he speaks English. He's fantastic. His name is Max. Hopefully he doesn't mind that I'm probably going to send a bunch of emails his way from other people. But I wouldn't, honestly, I wouldn't inquire with him until you have a property that you might actually want financed. Or maybe you already own a property here in Costa Rica, you bought it flat out in cash, and you want to get a HELOC out on that property, maybe a home equity line of credit. So now we don't, because we want to be respectful of the bank too, and only, really contact them when we have something serious. So that would be like you already have a house that you're thinking about doing that for. And one thing that I want you to be really aware of that I want to mention early here in this live, because some people might pop off, is the bank will only lend you up to, so if you're a foreign non-resident here, foreign non-residents, they will loan you up to 70% of what they value the property. So if you found a property and it's $350,000, but the bank comes in and you go, perfect, I can do that 70% down payment. Excellent. I'm not a math whiz. That's why we got calculators nowadays. But we can use this as an example. Okay. Yes, please trust this computer. Okay. So let's say 350,000 is the property that you found times 0.7. Of course, there's going to be some other fees. So, if you're thinking, so that's 245, 350 minus 245. So, so I guess you would have $105,000 down payment. Let's say if the property is 350,000, you would have the $105,000 down payment. That would be 70%. However, remember that the bank is going to have some of its own fees, leave thousands of dollars for those fees to be looped into the loan unless you want to pay those on addition. But the important thing to note is if the bank does come into that $350,000 property that's on the market and they value it at $250,000, now your down payment goes, so 250 times. So now you have to pay 30% of that. Plus, so it's 75,000 plus the additional 100,000 that, they're not going to cover. So now your down payment is 175,000. Does that make sense? Maybe put in the comment if you have a question about that. I just really want everyone to understand that it's going to be 70% of what the bank values the property. And a lot of times they will value it lower than what the market value is. Maybe that could even be where you can negotiate with the owner as well. Say, well, the bank came out and did their evaluation and they're here. Can we get this closer to that price? So that's what I really want you to be aware of. Make sure that you're kind of even looking at some things maybe under your max budget whenever you're considering the financing. And they do have the terms for up to 20 years. Up to 20 years, which is great. They have, second home investment equity loan. They can give you up to 70% for foreign non-residents and residents and Costa Rican. So there's really no difference here for the second home or an investment or equity loan between the foreign non-residents and residents and Costa Ricans. So here, even, if you do have your residency, you can get up to 80%, which is great. So this is for, if you don't have residency, up to 70%. And these are the interest rates that are available till May 31st, 2024. What I'll probably do, he does send me the new interest rates every time they come out. I'll probably just have the same link that is in the description, just in case anyone's watching this 6 months from now. You can go to that same link and I'll make sure that it goes to the PDF that's the most updated that I have if you are watching this in the future and you're just coming across this. And some required things, you're obviously going to have to fill out your form, passport, driver's license. They're going to want to see income tax returns for the last 3 years. So if you don't have an income, it's my mom. If you don't have an income, then that's going to be a problem. Or maybe if you haven't had an income for a few years, that is going to be a problem for getting the bank loan. They do need to see that you do have income. Value. So that's when they're going to come out and they have 3 different options for appraisal companies that are approved by this bank to come out and do the appraisal. Lowest amount was a little over $500 for the appraisal, but none of the companies were over $600 for the appraisal. Just give you an update on that. That is something that you would have to pay for. They are going to want your credit reports. So at least two of these. Nothing had to be apostilled. And they do want to see, bank statements or pay stubs, depends on your employment, things like that. And then they do have the, pre-penalty 3% balance on any due before 5 years, or after 5 years, you don't have a prepayment penalty, which is nice. And they do require you to do life insurance. So actually, I just did this appointment last Saturday. So I'm taking out a home equity line of credit. I went to the appointment. They drew, 4 tubes of blood. And that was it. So I guess I passed. We're all good. So I found this bank to be much easier to work with. They were very responsive, quick, which you don't hear very often here in Costa Rica, as a bank being quick. Banking is usually one of my biggest pet peeves here in this country. But I don't get anything out of, it's not like I don't get anything out of you guys getting these loans by any means. I just want to be helpful, because I have seen some other options out there that magically have thousands of dollars of price tags tagged onto them. And I will explain that a little bit more in the YouTube video that I'm going to put out on Saturday. It's already ready for scheduling. And I talk a little bit about, when I did compare similar scenarios, let's say on this home equity line of credit, all of a sudden there was a magical $16,000 in there. And I was like, well, where is this coming from? But the interest rate was a percentage lower, which was okay. But when I did the calculations, didn't really help that much, considering all the extra money that had just been randomly tacked on. And last thing was, they immediately were like, go pay for the appraisal. We'll get the process started. And the appraisal was $1,500. And they're working with the exact same bank that I'm showing you right here. And my appraisal was $500. So I'm like, why is there $1,000 added onto this appraisal? I'm not going to name any names, but I'm just saying, always do your homework when you're looking into all options. It's really important, because why would we need to spend extra money if we don't have to? Jonathan asked, do I mean 30% down payment? Yes, I think I meant 30. I don't remember where I said that, but so foreign non-residents do have a 30% down payment. Residents and Costa Rican citizens have 80%. 20% in this case. Yeah, if I mix that up, definitely, 30% down payment, 20% down payment if you are a resident Costa Rican, and if this would be your first home. So thank you for correcting me on that. Minimum credit score. I'm not sure I have good to excellent credit. That's such a good question. I don't remember. Maybe it was somewhere in the 600s. Like the minimum was somewhere in there. I'm not sure. That would be something to definitely. That's why it can be good to maintain your credit even after you've moved. Like, I'm glad that I've always built my credit even after moving. I moved 8.5 years ago. Haven't lived in the United States ever since moving. I've gone back to visit for a few weeks at a time, but I am happy that, it is still good to maintain your good credit, because you might actually need it down here. They work with the bank in Miami to, I guess, verify or do certain things. Do I have the name of any of the appraisal companies? Not off the top of my head, but I'd have to look for it. I don't remember who came out. I just kind of told them which one I wanted, and they coordinated it, and I made the payment. Okay, Jeffrey says, to obtain a HELOC, the homeowner has to own the property. In the U.S. as a realtor in the U.S. Options U.S. client containing HELOC. Okay, so that's another possibility. So I was talking about HELOC, home equity line of credit, via a property here in Costa Rica. If you have bought a property in cash here in the country, you can, through this bank. Of course, it depends on locations. Maybe if you're somewhere I'm sure there are locations that this bank will not finance a property. There's probably some properties that are just not, they think it's too risky. So that's something to think about too, in terms of taking out a home equity line of credit on your property that you own flat out in cash here in Costa Rica. So maybe they're not going to do this for all properties. Now, for another option for buying real estate that people do commonly do is like what Jeffrey said here, is to obtain a home equity line of credit. If you own a home in your home country, taking out a home equity line of credit on that home and then purchasing something down here. It actually works really well. It's pretty fast. You probably are going to get better interest rates. Definitely check into both options. And then you know exactly how much you're getting, which is nice too. and then you can calculate how much you're actually getting from that HELOC in the United States or in your home country, in Canada, wherever you guys are. And then you know how much buying cash power you'll have down here. And the purchase will probably go faster too. I mean, it will. It should go faster as well, doing it that way. So, okay, let's see if there's any other questions. But that's kind of all I wanted to say about this. If you guys are just dropping in here, they're in the PDF. I have a link to the PDF in the description. So in the description, if you're on YouTube, you can check the description there. If you're on Facebook, you can check the description there. Then it's just lostairlanda.com/financing, and you can download the exact PDF. I will always have it updated. So again, if anyone's watching this 6 months from now and I have the new rates, I'll make sure that the download link, after you fill in your name, email, information, I'll make sure that the download link does go to the correct PDF, like the most updated PDF. And then for those, I guess, who did, perhaps miss the tax webinar yesterday, but if you did not register and you wanted to see the tax webinar, I am going to send out the replay later today. So if you wanted to be on that email list that's going to get the replay, then you can, what was it? That link was something else. It was lostairlanda.com/webinar registration. But also you can watch the replay here on the YouTube channel, or it was in the Facebook group as well. And it was, on my website. So that's all I came in here to pop in and say hi. I'm trying to do these shorter lives about 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. I was a little past 10 today. Sometimes things come up, but we're going to be talking about different topics that are important. So actually yesterday I did make a post asking what are some topics that you guys would like to hear in these lives. So of course I'd love to hear from you if there's something that in particular that you would like me to speak about in kind of one of these little shorter live streams. Okie dokie. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We have a nice breeze out here in Costa Rica finally. We actually got some rain the other day. I know some areas got rain, which was wonderful. We're in the heat of our summer season, so I literally like the rain. We got a nice rain yesterday, and finally it feels breezy, which normally I feel like my house feels like an oven without the AC on, but I'm able to now have the doors open, and it feels good. We got little Crystal. What are you doing? Crystal's tangled, so I'm going to go help her. And I will see you guys on Friday.